Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm doing a playthrough of God's Heist by Triton Noir. This is a prototype, all rules and components subject to change, and I'll have a link to the crowdfunding campaign down below. This is not a sponsored playthrough, this is just the fact that I've gone through this game already, and well, not the full game, but there are 6 missions in the current prototype. I've gone through a few of them, and I was like, you know what, I actually kind of want to do a playthrough of this because it's a spoiler alert to the review. I'm enjoying this so far, and so here we are doing a playthrough of the mission, the second mission, called The Den of Peril. If you want to see the playthrough of the first mission done already, go ahead and check out One Stop Co-op Shop, possibly other channels. I just know I saw one over there. If you want to see the very first mission done, I went back to the second mission just so you could have something new, but also still early on in the journey. That way you have a mission 1 over on One Stop Co-op Shop, mission 2 over here, and honestly, I don't really know what other content creators or channels are going to be doing other missions. So here you go, The Den of Peril. But let's give you a quick overview of how the game plays, dive into this. There'll also be a review closer to the campaign date as well, so if you want to get my full thoughts and opinions, although you already know that I enjoyed it enough that I'm just like, hey, let's go ahead and do an extra playthrough for fun because I want to walk you through the experience of, well, the thought process, the feelings, what's going on here. The general idea of this is, of the game God's Heist, is thematically you're a bunch of marauders wandering into these various crypts left over, all defended by these Drakonids over here, which are these lizard-like creatures who are kind of stopping us from trying to get all of the treasures. We're Indiana Jones, we're just trying to rescue these items for ourselves, maybe other people. Well, good reasons I'm sure. So we're wandering through these missions over here, and they're in the way, and that's pretty much the core idea. They're kind of in the way. We're going to be dealing a little bit with a kind of stealth aspect to it. This makes sense, obviously. Triton Noir has done V Sabotage, they've done Assassin's Creed, so they kind of know what they're doing in that domain, although this is very different in, I guess the feeling is a little similar if you play those games, but the actual mechanics are very different. So it's its own little puzzle that primarily has you acting, but then dealing with the reactions of the Drakonids and having to be mindful of how that's going to play out. I'm going to go ahead and read you some flavor text of the mission in question. We are ultimately, let's start with the flavor text and then tell you a bit more with the game. The Den of Peril. Beneath the surface of the catacombs of the gods, in the darkest and most feared depths, lies the Den of Peril. It's a sinister labyrinth imbued with an impressive atmosphere and a dark magic that seems to suck out light and hope. Here, walls ooze icy dampness, and shadows dance ominously as if they had a life of their own. The air is heavy, laden with an invisible threat that weighs on the shoulders of those who dare to venture in. Guided by Umbra, the Master of Shadows, the Marauders must advance silently through this deadly maze. Do I have Umbra? I think I have. I have Umbra. I made sure I took Umbra. Guided by Umbra, the Master of Shadows, the Marauders must advance silently through this deadly maze. Every corridor seems to whisper ancient warnings, and invisible eyes follow their every move. Deadly traps and treacherous illusions lie in wait for intruders at every turn, while fierce Drakonids patrol the corridors with unwavering vigilance. It's a place where courage and cunning are put to the test, and where only perfect coordination between Marauders can enable them to outwit the dangers and get their hands on the priceless artifacts hidden within. Now, without getting too much into it, a general idea of how these missions are going to go is you're going to have the core mission you're trying to do, which has some rules, nuances to exactly what you're trying to do, but ultimately you are trying to find the main mission tile. Doing setup, you're going to go through a little bit of a process of mixing together tiles. We're going to have some tiles, we're going to have our starting tile, we're going to have some other tiles over here, and then the mission tile is going to be one of these 3, with these little marks on it show us that's one of those 3. These are just tokens to show us that. This card over here is going to be a planning card. We'll talk more about that, but before we get into the core details, the general idea is the Drakonids are going to be in play on these various tiles, and we are trying to wander through the map to try to get to the mission tile, accomplish certain mission goals, gather the artifact, and get out before the alarm causes too much trouble for us. Although again, if you've played Assassin's Creed V Sabotage, very different alarm system here as far as how it works. We're not like thinking full. We'll get to it. But anyways, we have our characters. I'm playing a 3-player game. If it's not clear, I'm playing a 3-player game solo. I'm controlling 3 of the Marauders over here. I'm controlling Solinar, Draka, and Umbra. Each mission will have a recommended Marauder to use, and ours is Umbra. She'll make things a little He'll make things a little easier as we go through things. I am playing on the hardest difficulty because I've already gone through the game on the medium difficulty, and I think it presented a nice level of challenge. I haven't tried easy, I skipped that entirely. I want to see how difficult hard is and how much of a challenge it presents for me. Now, I'll kind of walk you through more of the details as we do so. The main thing you need to know is each character has a hand of 4 cards, which are going to represent their core cards, plus any equipment or artifacts they have. Anything they have kind of is going to go into that deck. And at any point, we can choose our characters as far as what cards they want to do. But many of these cards are more reactionary in nature. They're not the core actions in the game. To get to the core actions, you have to sit there and say, hey, you know what? We're not taking actions. We're done. We've done the things we want to do. We're not playing any more cards from my hand. At which point, you'll flip an action card, which will tell us which of our characters is taking action. There's 3 cards for each character in that deck, and it'll often have you do things like moving, attacking, possibly becoming stealthy again if you've become hunted by the enemies. The problem is there's also 3 Draconid cards in there that will tell us that the Drakonids are activating, and that could represent a problem for us because then we'll be drawing cards from the activation deck, as well as if we have any line of sight with the Drakonids, we're going to do an interception where they might go ahead and be able to tell that we're there. Because we kind of can wander around fairly freely, but whenever they go, they have a higher degree of perception going on than before. So with that kind of loose overview in play, let's go ahead and just walk through this. I'm going to kind of briefly take a look at my cards. I should note, by the way, I did carry her through I went back to the first mission and played that on hard difficulty, just to go ahead and start us off, and we do have some carryover from that, and missions are going to have carryover. The main thing is I already have a wound on Draka, and I have a wound on Umbra. I actually had 2 wounds on Draka, but you can pay coins, you're going to gain coins throughout the game, you can pay coins to get rid of your wound, so I paid 10 coins to get rid of 1 wound. On the plus side, we are coming in with a bunch of equipment as well as the artifact from the last mission. So we do have some extra stuff on our plate and also those wounds. And we have to kind of be mindful because we don't want bad things to happen. We don't want our characters to die. Characters can die. They can go ahead and gain wounds equal to their critical health, which for Draka is 4, for Umbra is 3, and for Solinar is 2. So I guess kind of they're 2 away, and 3 away from being critically wounded, at which point you have a turn to heal yourself or you die. So you have 1 turn from when you're critically wounded to kind of get you to a point where you're healed, and otherwise you're carrying on the mission without that character working for you. With that, let's go ahead and see how this plays out for us. Let's take a look and see what we can do to accomplish our goals. So right now, I don't want to heavily use my action cards, although using my action cards can be helpful a little bit. Oh, I do need to put out a token on this zone over here. This zone's going to start off with a loot token, so we're going to put that out. We can enter on either of these. Normally there'd be a Draconid over here, but we already have the rules specifically told us to take that Draconid out, so we remove 1 Draconid from the revealed blue tile. That's part of the mission setup. So in this case, we don't have any Draconids. We can go ahead and wander through. We do have a secret passageway over here, which can be helpful, but we need other secret passageways in play in order to benefit from that. We have our decks, we have our cards, we have all the other things we need. We have a challenge and a side quest. We'll talk more about those, but for the challenge, you should note that doing the same game turn, I have to pass 2 tests using a D4, which is not the easiest to do. It's doable, but it's not the easiest to pass 2 tests with a D4 doing the same game turn. That's frustrating. Because usually you test on a D6, you can actually level up, test on a D8 or D10 or D12 using various challenges. But to pass this challenge, I have to use a D4 for my test, which is not what I want to do right now, but it could help us as we go through this. We also have a planning card. At the beginning of the game, you're going to draw 3 planning cards and pick 1 to utilize, paying the coin cost if necessary. In my case, after completing the objective, I do not play the first Draconis action card. So the first Draconis action card after doing the objective is going to be null and void, which gives me a turn to get out of there once we trigger that alarm and do all our stuff. So for right now, and we will by default, we'll have to exit through our starting tile. There are things that can give you additional exits, but we'll have to basically head to one of these 3 and then head back to our starting tile and exit. And so right now, I need to figure out exactly what I'm doing, but most of these cards are not super helpful right now because there are no Draconids in play. So I think we're just going to go ahead and draw an action card and see how this plays out. We're not even on the board, so there's less threat from the Drakonids. And we have Umbra with 3 moves. Now, the first move is going to be onto one of these entry points, and then we can go kind of over there. We have 3 moves. I think we'll just take Umbra and start this process off. We'll wander on over here. We could go down. Do I want to go? I could go 1, 2, but then I can't get to here with 3. So maybe I'll see if Solinar will do that. Because going through here, although this could be an opportunity to go ahead and test twice to get this token and pass through, there is something nice about the ability to challenge ourselves and power up right now, but I'm a little worried about that. 1, 2, 3. That could be a little easier. Let me see, Umbra's deck right now. One of the things you can do with your action cards over here is you can discard them to go ahead and buff your stats. But her cards right now, his cards, I remember his cards, are not helpful enough. He has a 2 and a 1, somatic bomb, which is going to be a piece of equipment we can utilize, and then a rampart walk, which is not going to help us right now. So So we're just going to go ahead and power through. We're going to go ahead and go 1 over here. So we're going to go 1 onto there and 2 onto there. The first move does count a movement point. And then from there, we're going to reveal this tile. Now, the problem with that is that ends your movement. So my last piece of move, my last movement point is going to be discarded. Now, we are orienting these at the north direction. We also are going to put a Draconid out on this tile because rules. They do have line of sight to me, unfortunately, right now because they can see in a straight line with no obstructions. We do have a secret passage, so we can jump from here to here pretty easily. And we're also going to put out 2 more of these loot tokens with the various effects that they're going to have on this spot over here. So kind of good things, but the main issue we have right now is a Draconid who might be able to activate and do a perception check against us. So we should probably take a look and see whether there's anything that I want to do. After move, we have entered the line of sight of... Ooh, that's interesting. I have to check that, okay? We'll see. Choose the facing of all Draconids who have you in the line of sight. That's an interesting one. So I have the interesting opportunity. I basically have this card over here, Distraction, where I can test on a 3+ in order to orient the side of which way he's facing. Which I like the idea of that. What I don't love is that's a 3+ test, which I kind of want to be able to do my my modifier on, but I can't. I think for right now, we might just not really deal with anything right now. We'll just go ahead and draw another card and hope it's not a Draconid card, because if it's a Draconid card, well, it's a Draconid card. What do you know? So the first things first, we're going to draw an Interception card because we have Interception card is going to happen because we see a non-hunted character in their line of sight. So we're going to draw this Interception card over here, and we have the Draconid is very alert. Who goes there? Draw 1 smooth talk card. Now, unfortunately, Umbra is not better at smooth talking. They're better at bribing. Each character has a little modifier to different kinds of ways you can avoid being intercepted. So, again, the Draconid is alert. He says who goes there. He scans my direction, ready to attack. We draw a smooth talking card, which means we're going to look over here and draw a smooth talking card from this pile off to the side. We have a whole deck of acting, bribing, smooth talk, and dodge. And we have smooth talk. You declare... Your gods abandoned you a century ago. This sanctuary is falling into disrepair. How long have you been defending these forsaken ruins, and for how much longer? And then we test on a 6+. Now, we do have modifiers we can spend, which is not the worst. The problem is, I don't want to. That's the problem. I don't want to spend those modifiers. But I think that right now, because we are rolling a d6, and we have to get a 6+, which is not great, and I don't know what's on the other side of this card. We're going to flip this card after we see the results. So I don't know how bad this is going to go for me. I could just go for it and hope that it's not the worst situation, which it probably isn't. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for it. We have 3 wounds to spare. We're probably fine, right? We're not going to... No, I'm going to discard this card. I'm going to discard this card. I'm discarding this card for a 2+ modifier to my roll. So I'm going to be able to roll a 4, 5, or 6, and we're going to see what we got. And we got a 4. Beautiful. So we passed the test. We're going to flip this over. Success! The Draconid replies confidently, I've been guarding this sacred place for 8 cycles. The gods will return. You challenge him. A century after desertion, do you still believe? He answers, stay here. I have urgent business to attend to. And he disappears. Eliminate the Draconid. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Okay. Now, the downside of this over here is, and I should note, by the way, this is a good time to note, check out the pinned comment if there is one for any rules issues that I got wrong. There may be things that I make mistakes on. I've gone through this, so I pretty much know what to do. I've also spoken to Triton and gotten some questions answered. But anything that comes up that hasn't happened before, which many of these cards, by the way, I haven't engaged with many of these cards, so that might be one example, then we'll just have to deal with it. And so check the pinned comment. But with that said, we eliminated the Draconid. We still have to resolve our Draconid activation. So we're going to do that. We have to go ahead. Draconid's attack, which there are no Draconids in play. Now, the way these work is they have an easy, medium, and difficult level over here. And we're going to resolve all of them because we're playing on the hardest difficulty. So, Draconids attack. Then Draconids move towards white. There's basically black and white arrows that give directional movement to them. And then they have Draconids spawn on red spawn spaces, which are not in play. So we don't have to worry about this. We can just go ahead and dissolve that card. Dissolve's not the right word. Discard that card and move on to the next turn over here. Now, again, we could continue. There are no Draconids in play, so it's a little less scary. We are going to draw our next card and see what we got. And we have Umbra going again. Jeez, man. Come on. Give someone else a turn. But in the meantime, without giving someone else a turn, we are going to go ahead and wander forward 3. And we could go 1, 2, 3. It's not the worst, but we are going to have to test twice. That's interesting. I don't like that at all. Although we could... Where was I? I was over here. I could go 1, no, it would still be. This is a secret passage, but the secret passage requires a wound either way. So I may as well go 1, try to cross that barrier. Now, here's the tricky part. I could try to do it on a d4, which gives me a 1 in 4 chance of doing it, which I don't like those odds, and I don't want Umbra taking the wounds. So we're going to go ahead and have Umbra roll on the 4+ to try to pass over here. This is a spot that if you have to pass a 4+, but if we fail that, we're going to take a wound. So let's go ahead and see what happens. We got a 6, beautiful, no wound. And then for our third move, we're going to wander over here. And then again, test that, and we got again a 6. We're doing great on these rolls over here, so no wound. Again, the 4+ would have been great. 2 4s would have been passing and passing our challenge, but we don't need to do that. And for our last action, we're going to go ahead and flip this tile. Now, this is the last tile before we get to the ones that could actually be our mission objective. For right now, in fact, we don't even have our side quest, which means we got blues. Oh, these are all going to be the reds. No, there's going to be 2 reds. No, there might be, yeah, 2 of these are going to be reds, and one's going to be our blue origin tile. We do have to go ahead and place the Draconid out, because as much as we got rid of the last one, they by default point towards black, which means once again we are a prime target. Umbra is having most of the fun over here, but we do need to be mindful. Again, the whole thing here is the Drakonids get pretty threatening pretty quickly if you're not careful. This is a game about managing to stay out of their presence as much as you possibly can to avoid bad things happening. So we're going to take the chance that there's probably not a Drakonids card as our next card. I think we could once again. Nope, we can't do that one. We can't do that one. We don't have Draconid contact. We're just going to go ahead and go for it. We're going to flip this over. And Umbra, geez, I do not think I shuffled this deck well enough. I mean, I shuffled the deck, but we're going to shuffle it again because Umbra's now had all 3 of their turns, which is a little insane. A little insane. Now, what we can do is we can't, ooh, that's not a bad choice over here. Oh, we have to once again put out a token over here. Now, the nice part is we could go here, then here, then here, because these pathways will only give us the wound going to one direction. Basically, we can climb up safely, but if we're falling down, we'll take the wounds. So these ones over here are both direction, and these ones are only giving us a wound in one direction, so we can go ahead and try to power through those over there in the other direction. We shuffled our action deck again, and I have 3 movements left, or I can attack +2 if stealthy, but I think, see, attacking the Drakonids over there, I don't think I want to right now because I need the extra movement to get closer to them, so I can't actually attack because this card gives me the option to attack, but like I said, not close enough. So I think what we'll do instead is we'll try to wander around it and go 1, 2, and 3 into that space. Now, we could choose to flip this over, which is not the craziest. Again, Umbra's getting everything done over here. We do have a Seeker's Passageway, which will save us some time. We can jump straight there. We are going to ignore the wounds because we're climbing up instead. We are going to see what's on this space. Oh, I never went here. Did I even think to go here? Probably should have gone there, but it is what it is. We're going to flip it over, and we have a piece of equipment that we're going to draw. So we're going to go ahead and draw an equipment from the equipment deck. So we have our equipment deck. Where did I put it? Where did I put the equipment deck? I feel I specifically tried to have it in... Nope, that's the Oracle deck. Where is our... Probably up here. This is our equipment deck. We're going to go ahead and draw an equipment now to see what we got for that. And Umbra is done for the round. Now, Umbra could go ahead and flip over this new tile to get us line of sight. The only downside there is we're not going to have a lot of flexibility if there's a Draconid facing you. So why don't we start by seeing what the equipment is and then go from there. So we'll go ahead and draw one, and we got this over here. Treasure map. Leave this card aside on the space designated by the red cross on tile 12 above, +2 equipment cards. Interesting. Tile 12? Interesting. Interesting. So it's a treasure map to a specific tile. It's a cute little concept. Okay, well, I don't think it's going to be that useful to us, unfortunately, but at least we got equipment, which still has a value to us. And for right now, we can go ahead and see, do I want to flip over the next tile? It's a little scary to do that because I'm left with no action cards to react. But if there's a Draconid right next to me, which I don't think there usually is, usually they're not, usually they're one away, but, I could use my systemic bomb. Okay, I think I'll do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this tile over. So I'm going to use my line of sight and remove this over here, and then flip this over and see what we got. We have a Draconid on a red action space. Those are a little bit more threatening. They spawn a little more frequently. He's facing this way, so he's not even facing me, which is good. That's good news for me because if he's facing me, that could be bad. Which means we are totally fine for right now. They only look down their actual line of sight, so until he moves or reacts, we should be fine. We do need to put out 2 new tokens on these spots. So let's go ahead and put 1 out and 1 out on those spots and see how things go for us. I do love this over here because this could be a good way to test, to challenge, to level up. Unfortunately, this is not our end goal. This is not our end spawn point, so we don't know what to do with that right now. This is going to be one of these 2 tiles. I hope it's this one because this one's going to be closer to getting back to the exit. But right about now, we will go ahead and draw a Drakonids card right now. Well, not a Drakonids card, hopefully. We got a Draka. Draka is going to take either 2 moves or become stealthy. They're already stealthy. I think right now the fastest way to jump into the action is to go to this point over here. We're kind of ignoring some loot in play, but I think that's okay. We're going to wander on 1 there and then go over here 2. We're going to test on a 4+. We could use some of our things to go ahead and adjust this. Stunning Drakonids is not a bad thing, but this is 1, this is 2. I really need to get over here. I think we'll go ahead and just test on a 4+. We could afford the wound. We're going to test over here, and we got a 4. Beautiful. We're rolling great. We're rolling great. No wounds for us right now. We're going to go ahead to our next card, and we have Drakonids. Interception. Now, there is no interception because I'm not in line of sight of Draconid. If they're facing down to me, it'd be a different story, but I'm not, so no worry about interception. But we still have to check for interception after each step of the Drakonids activation card, so we're not currently quite safe yet. We're going to start with Drakonids attack. They don't have anyone to attack right now, so you don't have to worry about that. Then they move towards the black arrow. So the way that's going to work over here is this one's going to move down here, so they're a little closer over there. And this one, the black arrow would take them this way, so they're not going to actually do anything else differently because there is nowhere to go towards the black arrow right now from here. So in this case, I think they are totally fine towards not moving. Then we're going to go ahead and have Drakonids spawn on blue spaces. +1 Draconid on blue spawn spaces. Ooh, that's not the best. We could try to just place one down over here and try not to worry about this one. So let's go ahead and do that over here. We're going to go ahead and place this down over here. The hope is that by having him kind of to the point where we're trying to rush past to over here, the hope is that this one's just not as much of a threat. But again, it's fine right now. And keep in mind, after each step, we do have to check to see if they intercept, but at no point do they have line of sight to a stealthy character, so it doesn't really matter. No interception needed. Which means we now go to the next card. We have 2 Draconid cards down, so we are feeling pretty safe right now, but we still got a bunch of cards to go through, and we have our Drakonids card. The nice part is, as much as this is a bad thing because we have another Drakonids card activating right now, it does mean that we're guaranteed to not have more Drakonids cards for the next cards, which means we have perfect information, well, perfect-ish information, a lack of threat, I should say. So again, no one's in intercept range, so we're going to go ahead and draw a Drakonids activation card and see what we got. Remove collapse tokens on blue spawn spaces. There are none. +1 Drakonids on blue spawn spaces. So you always look for an available blue spawn space, which we do have, so I could still pick between these two. Again, I'm going to put one down here with the hope that we're just kind of moving past them. Although don't forget, we do have to actually escape, so there is that problem too. And then we have Drakonids attack, but there is no one to actually attack right now. There's no intercept, there's no movement going on right now. They just don't have line of sight to our characters. Our characters, whenever you're in a round circle, you're automatically going to be completely hidden. And this one just only has to worry about this guy turning, which he's fortunately not choosing to do so. So we should be fine over there. We're going to put these in our activation pile, and then we're going to go ahead and continue with complete safety. We have our Solinar, 4 moves and become stealthy. I should note these cards can go into your hand if you don't want to activate them right away, which sometimes can happen, but right now I think we are going to go ahead and continue going. A Draconid on a space with the Draco Scorpion is neutralized, then discard the Draco Scorpion. That could be useful. We could eliminate a neutralized Draconid in combat, so there's lots of things we can do over here as far as our options go. So let's see how this goes for us. Okay. We're going to go ahead and have Solinar move 4. Now, Solinar is currently off the board. He often does have the fastest movement. He has even a move 5 card, which is amazing when you get that. But for right now, we're going to start with, again, he only has 2 health, which means every time he crosses one of these wound spots, he is taking a chance with his life right now. So we're going to pop on for 1. Then we're going to wander into the spot. Now, we can't stay there, but we can move past our own Marauders. We are going to roll a 4+. I really don't want to get wounded right now. I made a mistake earlier. Draka has a wound. This is a good time to call this out over here. When Draka rolled an exact 4 in order to get past this test, they have their tension card. Each character has a tension card they have to use for the first test. And this card over here is a bad card. It makes you roll -1 in your next test, which I did. So we're going to discard this over here, but we are going to give Draka a wound, unfortunately. So Draka's going to take a wound, and they got rid of their tension card because of the -1. In the case of right now he could roll for the 4+, but I think we were just going to roll for this one. We're going to roll. We got a 5. We're good. We're safe. Then we're going to pop from here. So action 1, 2, 3 over here. Now, this is the part that's interesting because this is not a neutralized Draconid. I could try to neutralize them right now. I could put a Draco Scorpion token out. Then discard the... I could neutralize the current Draconid, but I don't know if I want to right now. I think right now I'm just going to pause and stop. Oh, maybe I should take... I need to get rid of these people. They're going to cause issues for us eventually. And if I take this one out, I could kind of head up here. So I think we're going to go ahead and put out a Draco Scorpion on this spot. That's going to neutralize the Draconid. He's not dead yet. There are many ways to kill him at this point, but he's not dead yet. That's the main thing you have to realize. Not dead yet. Although I really need to start testing on the 4+, but I think Draka needs to do that. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and place this card over here, getting rid of that, and then draw our next card. Anything else I want to do first? We have kind of a spot for most of our cards. I don't want to get rid of this yet. We do have our systemic bomb over here from Umbra, but right now it's not going to be as helpful. I could put a collapse token out. We're just going to go ahead and draw our next card, and we have Draka moving 2 moves or attack. Now Draka needs the moves over here because Draka's not in a space where they can go, but what they can do is, this is where we're going to see some fun activations. They're going to jump across the secret passage to this spot over here, and then they're going to head out over here. Now, when you move onto a space with a Draconid, depending on the situation, they'll usually move. If you can move past a neutralized Draconid, you cannot move past a standing guard Draconid. You can move past a neutralized Draconid, and if you move onto their space, then they try to go to the space you entered from. But if you entered from a stealthy space, they just die instead. So that's a great way to kill neutralized Draconids, is to neutralize them and then pop onto their space, hopefully from somewhere where they can't go back to, and then they're dead instead. So that's much better. So we're going to go ahead. We got 1 over here, and then we're going to go 2 onto here. Now we do need to roll on a 5+, and this is where I need to be mindful because I don't want to die. I'll go ahead and I'll discard this Daredevil card. Okay, so I'm going to discard this Daredevil card to add 1 to my roll. So we're rolling on a 4+ past this zone over here. And we rolled 3, which is not enough, unfortunately. So we are going to take our 3rd wound, which is not great, by the way, because, you know, the wounds are going to kill us eventually. We are going to go ahead and step onto this and kill that Draconid. So at least we have 1 Draconid down. And we are going to go ahead and we have Distinguished Fighter as a card right now. This card says, whenever you've eliminated a Draconid, store a Draka token on this card over here. So I'm just going to toss a token. I don't know where our correct tokens are. We're just going to toss a token onto this card for right now. And basically, we can have up to 3 tokens. And for each token, we can add 1 to an attack test, which actually makes for a good opportunity to possibly pass our... No, I don't want to roll a 4 against a Draconid. That's not good. Draconids roll an 8-sided die by a 10-sided die by default. A 10-sided die, I believe so. They roll a 10-sided die, and we're rolling a 6-sided die right now, which means we're more likely to die than not die until we upgrade our die, that is. But in the meantime, that was a card. We got a Draconid gone, and we can go ahead and go to the next card. We have Draka making 3 moves or attack +2 if hunted. I think the 3 moves is a little tricky because we could go up here. In fact, right now is a good time to do it because Draka probably has no more action cards in the deck at this point. This is a 3rd action card. So I believe that the remaining 2 cards are going to be Sulleners, which gives us some information. But Draka could go 1-2 up here and then reveal this tile. So we can at least find out whether we're working with our last tile over here. And we are. This is our destination tile, which means we don't have as much of an incentive to go to this tile. In fact, this is the activation space. Where is it? This is the activation space for the mission. That's the one we're trying to do. And so we have to go ahead and spawn some Draconids, unfortunately. So we have some Draconids over here and then Draconids over here. Which means they are in line of sight of us, but right now we have 2 actions before we have to worry about them taking a turn, which is the good news. But the bad news is they're there, and Draka's got no more actions, at least for right now. She could do an action when she takes a wound. That would be bad for her. 1, 2, 3. That'd be bad. She has a cool thing, a Fury card, where she can take a wound and then power through and neutralize and or eliminate Draconids, which would be great for us, but right now, not great for us. Now, we are trying to get Umbra up to this tile, which is important because we are going to ultimately doing a test over here in order to go ahead. We're going to be testing, I can't remember the exact thing. We'll find out when we get there. But Umbra will have an easier time testing. The other Marauders have to test on an 8+, and Umbra tests on a 5+. That's part of the reason why you want Umbra in play. We also haven't really engaged. I need to go ahead and put tokens out, speaking of which. We haven't really engaged with the side quest yet. This would be a side quest spot. There'll probably be a side quest spot on this tile as well. And those will give us different abilities effectively where we can go ahead and pick loot tokens. They can immediately spend action to archive their tension card, which can be very useful if we do that. So far we have a bunch of things going for us, but we also have some Draconids staring us down, which is not the best. We do have 2 actions from Solinar, so let's see what we can do with that. We have our move 5. So our move 5 is going to be helpful to get us in position against the enemy. Interesting. How do I want to handle this? Because we have the Draconids staring us down. We could designate Marauder. Oh, interesting. We could archive our tension card. We can eliminate and neutralize Draconid. There's some interesting things happening, but none of them are going to help us a lot right now. I could try to head down here, which could go ahead and I can get rid of my tension card wherever it is. That's not the worst. But then I'd be done with the turn, which I don't love. But maybe it's worth engaging in that. And this just makes me hunted, which gives me a good opportunity to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's interesting. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Watch what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to do something a little fun right now. It might cost me. We'll find out. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and use Solana moving 5. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're not going to interact with the space right now because that would end our turn. Usually picking up a loot does not, but when it's one of these spots, this spot heals a wound, and this spot is a side quest, then they would end your turn. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to cross this line over here. Now we're going to choose to make that test on a 4-sided die, okay? So what we're going to do is going to pass this to make on a 4-sided die, which means currently, I wish I had one more, but I don't. But we're adding 2. So basically a 2, 3, or 4 is going to successfully pass the test, and we will not be visible. So let's hope for the best. And can anyone else help me on tests? I don't believe so right now. So we're going to go ahead and test on a 4-sided die, rolling a 2, 3, or 4, and we got a 2. So the 2 is over there. That's fine. We passed the test, which means now it's time to pass back. So we're going to wander right back against that. Either way, we're going to have to test across that that gap. And now we're trying to test on again a 4-sided die, but this time we're going to pass in our Solinar card, which is going to give us +1 to that roll. So we're going to grab our die over here and see if we get a 3 or a 4. We got a 4. We didn't even need the +1, but that's neither here nor there because that means that we just passed our challenge and we can upgrade our D6 to a D8 instead. If I can find a D8 over here, and we got our D8 in play. So now we're fighting on a slightly more level playing field. Our tests are going to be a higher die, and we replace our challenge card with a new challenge card. So I need to go find our challenge cards, which are somewhere here. Are they there? Nope, wrong stack. Are they there? Let's see. This stack is going to be our challenge card. So we're going to grab a new challenge. And our next challenge is First Aid. From now on, a Marauder suffers one wound, then heals or is healed. From now on, a Marauder suffers a wound, then heals or is healed. We just have to... I could be mistaken. I think I just have to suffer a new wound and then heal or get healed. I think. So I can't just heal a wound already. I need to get a wound and then heal, I believe is the challenge. So I guess we're going to start walking across some dangerous rocks and seeing how that goes for us. But again, we are currently rolling on a higher sided die. This is not going to change in the future scenarios. That part's going to reset. Wounds don't reset, and other things don't reset. But those things, the challenge cards do reset. Now again, we have one more action left. Oh, and then I have to get back here, and that was half the point. I'm going to reveal this. We're going to roll a d4, and we're going to get, normally we upgrade our challenge, but that's not a challenge. We got 1 gold. So we got a single gold into our pool, which will help us for healing wounds in between missions, which is great, but I wish there would have been more than that, because that would have been better. But in the meantime, the next thing we can do is we can go ahead and interact with the quest over here. So we can immediately spend 1 action card to archive their tension card wherever it is. Ironically, and if Solana does it, he can archive anyone's tension card, which is great, because each side quest usually has a preferred Marauder as well. The problem is I don't have action cards to spend. Now again, going to the rules aspects, I don't believe that equipment will count as an action card. I think it literally has to be the action cards, but I could be mistaken with that, because I do have a rope in my hands, but the rope's not going to help right now. Either way, we do have 1 card left to go over here, so the 1 card we're going to draw, it's going to be Solana, and let's see what we can do. We have 3 moves, or draw cards from your deck until you reach the maximum in front of you. That would have been great 2 seconds ago, but it's not 2 seconds ago, it's now. So we are going to go ahead and move 3. I think we are going to just do the thing and head towards this way to see how it goes. The other option would be, I can't really get past here. I could jump back here and then go up here. I don't know if I want to right now, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're trying to head here. We don't want to reveal a new tile. We just want to deal with the threats we have in front of us and call it a day. And that is going to be the round. We're going to go ahead and discard. Oh, do we want to do anything else? We have Umbra is over here. Umbra can drop a... this is not bad. I can drop a systemic bomb to take this guy out and stop him from being in the way, which is not crazy. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and spend our systemic bomb over here. This is a piece of equipment. We're basically trying to take... Now that we've cleared this tile, we're trying to keep our line of sight just... is what it is. Again, a little scary right now because we still have some stuff going on here. I'm trying to eliminate 1 more threat while we have this card, because our cards are going to be discarded anyway. I'm going to test on a 4+ over here. Now I am rolling the higher sided die, which is better. I'm going to target this space to try to kill that Draconid, and we got a 3, which is not great. The reason I didn't mind that, though, is because we can place a collapse token on a space in contact. So collapse tokens are going to be a whole new mechanic. where basically, well, new to you, not new to me, where you basically stop. This kind of obstructs everything. You can spend an action card to get rid of that, but until you do, the Drakonids can't get to you, you can't get to them. It just kind of puts them in the way. Now, had we dropped it on him entirely, it would have killed him. Had they dropped on us, it would deal a wound. This stomach bomb was the success is you hit the space you're throwing it at, and the failure is you just hit a space next to it. So either way, I knew we were protected from having that guy head towards our way by putting a collapse token. Now this is gone. We did lose our equipment, unfortunately. That's just the price you pay for trying to throw a bomb at a Draconid. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and continue there and see what we're doing next. So we go to the next round. We're going to discard all our cards, which is a shame. I really like Drakos Fury, but it is what it is. Drakos Fury could be really helpful in the right situation, but also we need to heal our wounds, and I believe some of our cards will help us with healing wounds. Is any of the ones I drew? Yes, we got Bandage. Beautiful. We got Bandage. We needed Bandage. That was one of her cards over there. And then we're going to go ahead and see what we draw for Umbra. The main thing I was hoping for was Draka's healing ability, because that is essential. She's at 3 wounds. I think it's a she. I'm only 95% certain of that. We're going to draw our hands for everyone else, and again, discard previously existing cards, and then get a fresh start and see how this goes. Oh, no, I made a mistake. I made a small mistake. Let's go ahead and get that back over here. The small mistake I made, nothing crazy, is the fact that in the game, this card over here, Distinguished Fighter, I can go ahead, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. It is what it is. Distinguished Fighter could be held because you put tokens on it. Because I already threw it out, I'm just not going to bother with it. But it would give you extra successes on cards. Anyways, we go ahead and shuffle up our action deck, and we see what happens next, which is... Basically, right now, the Drakonids are kind of wandering. We have 2 Drakonids ahead of us, 2 Drakonids behind us. No new Drakonids happening until you draw the Drakonids activation cards, which will constantly put them in play. So we're constantly dancing around them, and we'll see how that plays out for us. Let's go ahead and see. We're going to shuffle this up plenty and draw a Draka card. Okay, that's great. That is actually pretty solid. The only problem we have is, let's take a look at the cards we have. Okay, so that's not bad. I could get out of sight of them, which is not the worst, because then they'll kind of head in the reverse direction. Let me see how this is going to play out. I should have immediately gotten rid of my wounds, by the way. I made that mistake. But let's go ahead and resolve the card for right now. 1, 2, 3. That would make me hunted, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big... I think we're just going to play the dancing around game, although I don't love it. Let's do it. We're going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3 up to here. We're going to reveal this token over here, but first let's roll for that to see. We're rolling at a 3+, and we got a 1, which makes sense. We are now hunted officially. So we're going to put a little token on it, which there are ways to stop being hunted if we draw our right card. But right now it's not as much of a threat anyway, because we're currently in a stealth spot. We're in a safe space effectively, so it's not a threat now. It'll be more of a threat later. We're going to reveal this token, and we got another D4 worth of gold. So let's go ahead and see if we can get 4 gold this time. We got 1. We got 1 gold again. So our gold supply is not going to be great next round, so hopefully we can get rid of some wounds. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and... I don't want to use Bandage, because Bandage is gone. Bandage is 1 use right now, so... But we're going to use it. We're going to go ahead and roll a D4 to get rid of my wounds. Now, hopefully we can roll a 3 or 4. That'd be great. And we rolled a 2. I'll take the 2. 2's still fine. Because also, as much as each characters have their own wounds, there's also a collective pile of wounds, which is another way to lose if you're not careful about your collective pile of wounds. So that one's done. This card's going to be gone. It's not going to go back into our deck right now. It's gone, unfortunately. Even though it's one of our cards, that's one of the ones where you when you use it and lose it. Cards in the bottom right corner will tell you where they go back, either to their deck, archived, removed from the game, whatever it is. But right now we have our previously 3 cards. Oh my dear Lord. This feels like an essential moment for us. I feel like I'm going to try to make the game much easier than it should be by all accounts. Let me just make sure that no one else has a card that can help. Nope. Not going to help. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We do have 2 tension cards from Solinar and from Umbra in play, which is not going to help them. But Draka has Cry of Rage, which we're now being hunted, which we needed to be hunted in order to do this. Cry of Rage, you're being hunted. Neutralize up to 2 Drakonids on the tile you're on. It's a test on a 5+. We're going to discard both our cards. So we're rolling on a 3+ on the 8-sided die. Let's see how that plays out for us. We got a 4, which is good enough. I mean, I'm glad I contributed 2 cards to that. We are going to neutralize 2 Drakonids on the tile we're on. These guys are both dead. That's great for us. Could not have been a better, like really, I mean, we still have to get out, but that gives us a lot more breathing room as far as managing everything. So these action cards are everything. And let's see if there's anyone else who can do anything. I could use Solinar to test on a 5+ to draw 2 Oracle cards. I also still need to get wounded, which we'll deal with at some point. I think we're going to go ahead and have, you know what? Honestly, I think we're just going to draw the next card and see what happens. We have Draka. Okay, so now Draka kind of, this is the tricky part. Draka does want to pass over here. I could become stealthy on a round space, but I don't want to waste that time right now. Although maybe I should, because as long as I'm being hunted, I'm more of a threat. So I need to be careful with that. So maybe I will just become stealthy while in a round space. So I'm going to choose to become stealthy, but you have to be on a round space when that happens. So that was my action card. We're going to draw another one. We have Drakonids. Drakonids currently have no one in their line of sight that they can activate, so we'll draw a Drakonids activation card and see what we got coming to us. Drakonids attack, not relevant, no one to attack. They neutralize Drakonids get back up. So this is a thing that's very important to know. Neutralizing them doesn't kill them, and they will stand back up depending on the action card in play. Then one Draconid on the plus base of +1 Draconid on the plus base of tiles containing a Marauder. Okay, so right now this could be this having a plus base. I think we have to put one here. I think we have to put a Draconid there. After neutralizing everyone, they're still right back, unfortunately. Not on the bad space, but nonetheless, still kind of a little frustrating. Let's go ahead and get rid of that Drakonids activation card and see what we do next. Okay, so one Drakonids card down. In the way, but not the worst. We'll go ahead and reveal the next card. We have Solinar going. Now, Solinar, the tricky part now is that kind of actually threw a wrench in our plans because Solinar can't jump ahead and just do that. They could become stealthy. We drew a Drakonids activation card. Oh, I did have kindness. I had kindness. Kindness would have helped me. Huh. That's not relevant anymore. I don't know what I want to do. I have to be careful with the next test I'm on using the tension card. I don't think I could just go forward and try to attack them, but I also have to risk. If I walk into the line of sight, I'm risking, well, bad things happening. And I don't like the odds. I'm going to go ahead and go there. I'm going to go. We're going to see what we do. We're going to see what we do and figure it out. I am going to go ahead. No, I don't. I want to keep this. I want to keep this because I don't want the Oracle cards right now. I want to attack and test. So we'll go over here. And before I do that, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this card and see what we get. We have Umbra. Umbra's going to go. So Umbra's going to move 3 spaces and go 1, 2, 3. We're moving backwards here, but we do have an ability right now because now that we're here, we do have an ability, which is Ambush. So we're going to play Ambush, which says, if there's a Draconid 1 or 2 spaces away from you, if we're on a round space, we immediately succeed. Otherwise, we have to test on a 4+. So we are going to test on a 4+, but I am going to go ahead and just draw these 2 cards. I'm going to discard these to test on a 2+ on an 8-sided die, which makes me feel like I should pass, which I did. So this Draconid is going to be neutralized. Not dead, mind you, but neutralized. Also, wrong discard pile. Put these in the right discard pile. So this Draconid's now down, and hopefully we can actually go ahead and step on them. And that sounds worse than I mean, but we're going to step on them. We're going to try to step on them. Now, the tricky part is, if I draw a card, then there might be Drakonids going. So is there a way for me to move right now without? Sometimes there are, but I don't think there's right now. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a card, and we have Drakonids are going to stand back up again. Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. We'll see. We have this card over here. Drakonids move towards black, so this is going to move towards black. This one's going to move towards black, and this one, again, I don't think it really matters. He's kind of stuck here on his own little grid. He's down. Drakonids spawn on +1 Drakonids on red spaces. Are there red spaces right now? No, we're standing. The red spaces over here. There's no red spaces. And then Drakonids face towards Hunter Marauders and attack, which is not relevant because there are no Drakonids who can actually do that, and there's no Hunter Marauders. So we're still playing this pretty safe right now as far as things go. But that also means that we can go ahead and draw our next card and hopefully not have Drakonids attack. Beautiful. Umbra's going to go. Umbra has 3 moves. Umbra can go ahead and step on the Draconid. So they could either, this is where we have a choice here. We could either have Umbra pass through the Draconid to walk right there, which is the long-term, it's hard. What are the chances? Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really, Umbra we're going to walk past the Draconid. You see, the tricky part here is I could step on the Draconid and then kill it because it wouldn't be able to, because by going through the Marauder, it wouldn't be able to retrieve to the spot I was on, so it wouldn't actually do anything. But I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and step past it because Umbra has a better chance of testing that grid. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the test options. because we have to locate the Den of Peril, which we did. We have to recover the artifact. In order to do that, the Marauder on the objective space must spend 1 action card. I do have an action card, but I can't spend it. And test 5+. I don't even have an action card. I could do that. This is a problem. So basically, Solinar has an ability where I can have them pull back some cards, which I think I kind of want to do. The question is how many? Do I test on a 5+? I think so. I think what we're going to do is we're going to test on a 5+. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to play, Solinar is going to play this card over here, and they're going to test on a 5+ to retrieve 2 action cards. They have to use their tension, is what it is, and we're going to choose to use our Solinar Prayer over here. So we're neutralizing both those out. It's going to be just testing on a 5+ in general. So we're testing on a 5+, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to have Umbra pull back 2 cards. We test on a 2, and we fail. So that did not happen, unfortunately, which means we're back to not being able to do much. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and continue to the next card. The next card is going to say Umbra. Umbra gets 3 moves. I think Umbra's going to go ahead and take a step back and step on them. Oh no, if they do that, this is the pain. This is the pain part. This is dead. I'm going to have Umbra put this card in their pool. They're not going to use it right now. And then we're going to go ahead and have the next card drawn, and it's going to be Solinar. Now, Solinar could move on to the spot, but again, the Draconid will just shift to the spot they're from because they're not coming from that. Honestly, the only person who can actually really step on them right now would be... Is there a way to do it? No. It would have to be Draka. Draka's the only one who can step on them. By going here, then there, they could step in it. So with the Solinar over here, we're going to, again, pull this back over here and not worry about it right now. We're going to pull it to our supply. Then we're going to draw Draka. Draka has 2 moves. So we are going to use Draka's 2 moves. I'm going to try to go 1-2. So we're going to go 1, passing by that point, which means we're going to have to roll on a 5+. We got a 3, so we take a wound. The reason I didn't contribute anything towards that is I wasn't scared of a wound because that's part of our challenge. We can level up if we get that wound, and now we heal it. So now we've achieved a wound. Now we have to heal a wound, and then we can level up, which hopefully we'll be able to do. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to then step onto this Draconid, which is going to kill him because there's nowhere for him to fall back on. So he can't return to that previous space, and now he's dead. He's dead and gone. Which means our last 2 action cards does have 1 Draconid going. We could choose to play any of our cards that we have in front of us. The nice part about pulling an action card and not using it, again, you're limited to 4 cards, but it does mean you have options as far as when you do things instead. Now, I could still test with Solinar, but you'd be testing on an 8+, which feels insane. Feels that's very unlikely. Oh, do you have to discard an action card? Oh, I can discard an action card. Well, Umbra has that. Okay. Let's go ahead and it would be testing on a 6+, but let's see right now. So we're going to go ahead and test on a 6+. We're going to discard this action card. We're going to have to use our tension test over here. And then we're going to go ahead and roll on a 6+, and we got a 5. Dear Lord, that's not enough. That's not enough. Oh, I should have done that. I should rewind things, but I'm not going to. Solinar has an ability to kind of give an extra modifier equal to the wound cards, which would have made it a 6, ironically. But we're not gonna go take backsies on this one. What we are gonna do is we're gonna draw our next card and see what we got for the next card. We have Solinar. Solinar could once again take this card, and Solinar could try to test, but I don't think it's going to help me right now. Solinar could go ahead and move there. No, I don't think it's gonna help. I think we're kind of just prepping ourselves for a little. We need the next turn, basically. We need the next batch of cards. So I think we're going to go ahead and draw the next card. It's going to be the Drakonids or not, which we know. There's no one to intercept, so we draw our card. Hopefully it's not too bad, and we see what we got. We got Drakonids move towards black, so I think this one can't move towards black. It's going to retreat back on white. This one cannot move. This one could move towards black, although I guess because of the Draconid there it won't, so it's going to retreat back to white. And this one, again, doesn't really matter. Draconids move on the plus. Draconids plus 1 Draconids on the plus tiles of space containing Marauders, which I don't know if it's going to be relevant because, there's the only ones containing. We got one here. We got one there. Okay, so now here's what's going to be interesting. So we're going to place the Draconid out, facing that way. And now before we move to the next step, we have to go ahead and do a test against Solinar because of the fact that you now see him. You always do perception tests in between. So we do an interception test over here. And Draconid has no time to react. You can move out of his line of sight using the cards in front of you. Otherwise, you become hunted and the Draconid attacks you with -1. Oh, that's nice. So we can choose to move away from him with cards that we have in front of us, which fortunately we have. Also, we can try to attack him too, which is nice. But I guess that's annoying. How do I handle the situation? Otherwise, you become hunted. Otherwise, you become hunted and he attacks you with -1. Am I comfortable with him attacking me with -1 so that I can attack him back? No, I think I'm just going to move out of the space. I think I'm going to... What's the next action that's happening? +1 Draconid to contact one of the hunted Marauders, facing towards the Marauder. No, I don't want to be hunted. So in that case, we are going to take a step back. We're going to use this card to go ahead and take a step back and move backwards 1. We could try to head over here if we want, but then heading back out would cost us a wound, which we don't want to deal with. So I think right now we're just going to stay 1 back, at which point this will go ahead and resolve. And there are no hunted Marauders, so nothing happens. So we are safe, and that will resolve the round, which means it's time to shuffle up our action cards as we head into round 3. So we still haven't successfully tested against what we're trying to do over here. We do need to draw more cards, though, and see what fun cards we get. And we are kind of, again, we're just trying to stay ahead, make sure we don't get too many wounds, keeping in mind that whatever wounds you get do carry on to the next mission, which is not fun, because then you have, again, I don't have a lot of money this mission, so I can't afford to buy my wounds back. Last mission, I got a lot of money. Anyways, we got our action cards. We got our, let's go ahead and draw our new cards from our deck. So we need to shuffle up these as well and draw more cards. We are hoping to take advantage of Umbra being on the space to be able to discard a card to hopefully resolve a test. But we're going to 1, 2, 3 over here. And was that even 12? No, it's not 12. It's fine. Okay, just looking at the treasure map we got. We got Draka getting her 1 card. Oh, she got her, the winged sandals. That's fun. The winged sandals is very helpful. This is actually the artifact I got last time, which lets you move 2 spaces and automatically pass your tests on the dotted line. So these artifacts can be very helpful, very fun. You're pulling from a pool of artifacts, and whichever one you don't choose is never seen again, at least until your next playthrough. Speaking of next playthrough, this arc is currently on a 6-mission arc, but I don't know the full plan. Check out the crowdfunding campaign as far as if you want to see more information as far as the full arc of how long missions will be. Ooh, we have a minor potion. If you or another Marauder in contact has suffered +1 wounds, test 5+, remove 2 wounds. So if we do this, another Marauder in contact, so currently if I can get Solinar to touch Draka, then Draka can then heal, and that would let us move up to the next challenge level, which would help us at least start fighting. Again, the problem is the Drakonids roll a 12-sided die against your lower die, so the odds are not in your favor until you can power yourself up. Sorry, 10-sided die. If I can at least get myself from an 8-sided to a 10-sided, at least we're operating on a level playing field, and I can discard cards for extra buffs. But speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and discard this and see what we get for our action cards, because I want to go ahead and use Umbra to discard our action card to take the test on a higher level. So right now we're going to start with a pure action card and just hope for the best. Solinar, 5 moves or attack. Well, I don't love that. I don't love that. I could try to go ahead and get in contact with Draka, which would help us. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and go 1, 2, 3. I don't love this because I'm kind of making backwards progress. We're going to have to undo. But right now, we'll go ahead and test this over here. We'll use our minor potion. We're going to have to get rid of it, which I don't like. But we will be able to get rid of 2 wound cards, which I do like. And we're going to go ahead and we will go ahead and play this for a +2. So we're testing on a 5+, which becomes a 3+. And hopefully remove some wounds. We got a 2. Of course we got a 2. Of course we got a 2. Well, we're not powering up, unfortunately. The dice do not always roll in your favor. And we just lost an equipment card. Yay us. Anyways, let's go ahead and see who's the next card that we're going to draw. We're going to draw a Drakonids. That's not the best, not the worst. We're going to go ahead and draw a Drakonids activation. Again, none of us are hunted, which is the good news. But we do have +1 Drakonids and +1 Draconid in contact with one of the hunted Marauders, which we don't have, so we don't have to worry about that. Neutralize Drakonids, stand back up. And the Drakonids face towards hunted Marauders and attack. So again, this is the nice part. If you can stay unhunted as much as possible, you can certainly lower the risk because a lot of things are based on them trying to hunt you down. So right now what we're going to do is we are going to draw the next card, and there's one less Drakonids. We have Draka, 3 moves or +2 or attack +2 of hunted. I feel like we could just try to, do I want to try to take things out? We have Daredevil, which is not bad. We have our tension card, which I don't love. I think we start heading to the exit. We'll see how this plays out for us, but we're going to start heading toward the exit. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. We'll see what that costs us later. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and then draw the next card. So we'll draw the next card. Do I want to... yeah, we'll draw the next card. Okay, we have Drakonids. Again, that's not great. That's pretty quickly, but at least we clear the pile from them. +1 Draconid on red spawn spaces, not relevant. Drakonids face toward hunters, not relevant. Drakonids move towards black. So that's going to be good and bad because this one's going to head towards black and face us. We are now in line of sight. This one's going to turn around and go there, and this one's going to turn around and go there. Keeping in mind we have to get here and get off so far, but there's no one. Oh. No, that's the last step. Okay, because, interception after each step. Oh my gosh, so we're going to actually intercept now. Because we have line of sight, we're going to intercept and see what happens. We have the Draconid seems to look around for other guardians, then shouts, "By Belzeroth, Drakonids, all with me!" Draw a dodge card. Now the good news is, Draka, who's currently the one who's threatened by the dodge card, is the one who has +2 dodge. So we are going to see how a dodge card resolves, and we're going to see, you look around for a way out of the situation and luck smiles on you. Half buried in the sand lies a somatic bomb. Will you be quick enough to grab it? Test 5+, then flip this card. Now we do have our negative test modifier, but we are also going to use our other modifier. I think, no, actually I do want to, We're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna figure it out. Okay. So we're gonna be rolling on a 6+, I guess. Yeah, 6+. It is what it is. Because I kind of, here's the tricky part. I kind of want to play my +1 over here, but I think I actually want to use this to draw cards. So we're just gonna go ahead and roll on a 6+, and we got it. Perfect. Flip this card. You roll forward and grab the bomb, then throw it at the guard. +1 collapse token on the Draconid space and 1 space in contact. Okay, so that's kind of good. The collapse token is going to take the Draconid out, so he's gone, which is great. The problem is, because it's a collapse token, we are going to have to go ahead and get rid of that collapse token. So we're going to place this one over here. We're going to place the one in contact here because I don't want too much stuff in our way. You have to discard a card to get rid of those, which is, again, not the best, but this worked out well for us. So I'm comfortable with that. That's nice. Let's put this back on top so we don't draw it again. And then we still have our actions to do this, which could be useful. 1, 2. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do now. Okay, because we're gonna be a little gutsy as far as we still have to pass the test and get out. That's the downside. But what we can do right now is we can situate ourselves up for a good roll, maybe. Oh, that's not good. That would not be good. So let me think through how I want to handle this, because the problem is I have wounds, so I don't want to deal with that. I could roll on a 4+. If I go there, I can't get past you there. I could go 1, 2. Nope, that's not going to help me either. Okay, so basically the problem is I'm seeing a very cool move opportunity, but it would involve me having to risk dying. So I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to hold off. We're going to instead draw this over here. Draka +2 moves. Well, that wasn't what I wanted either. How do I solve that? 1, 2 could give me there. Okay. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to go ahead and use our 2 moves to go 1 and 2. So we're going to pass through the secret passageway. That way we don't have to test for wounds. So we are fine on that account. Then we're going to use Draka Daredevil to draw 2 Marauder cards for each of my wounds. Keeping in mind that I won't be able to keep all these cards because I have too many cards in my hand right now. I already have 2 cards. I have the Fury, which I wanted. And then, if there's a Draconid in your line of sight, I could. So I'm going to be drawing 2 more cards. I have to resolve these as I go. So in general, you have to, when you draw past your hand limit, you have to either resolve them or discard them or make room for them. So I could go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go ahead, if there's a Draconid in your line of sight, test +4. So I think I can go ahead and afford that. So I'm going to test on a 4+ to kind of drop a collapse token on a space. We got a 5+, so a collapse token dropped on a space, and he's dead now. So that's a dead Draconid if I ever saw one. Now the only problem is that that's a collapse token in our space, so we have to be mindful of that. I get to draw 2 more cards still, so we got another one. We have Cry of Rage, that's not relevant, which we already had Cry of Rage, is pretty cool. And then I think we're done. Okay, time to go ahead and draw the next action card. So what we're going to do is draw action card. We have Draka. I'm going to discard this to get rid of that token. So I'm going to just use an action card to basically get rid of that token, the collapse token, so we don't have to worry about it later. And then we're going to go ahead and draw our next action card. And we have Umbra, which is important because Umbra is going to take that and use this to test. Now, specifically what we're going to do right now is going to do a bunch of things to try to line up for the best possible test. So we're using our action card. We're going to technically put it into our reserve. And then we are going to use Soliner, who's going to test on a +3 to grant the Marauder a bonus equal to their wounds. That will give us a +1 bonus, which I'd love. So we're going to test on a 3+. We rolled a 1. Of course we did. The amount of bad rolls we've had this game, we're not dead. We're doing fine, but the amount of bad rolls we've had is a lot. So now Umbra is going to go ahead and discard her action card, his action card. That's going to give us a test on a 5+, because that's why you want Umbra in the mission. We're going to discard these 3, which is going to give us a +4, which I think gives us a 1+, doesn't that? +4. Oh, we're guaranteed. We didn't need. That was a silly move. We're gonna roll these. We got a 7. Didn't even need to get close to that, but we are officially have passed that, which means now we draw an alarm card. So we're going to go over here. We're going to grab a random alarm card and see what we got. The ground trembles beneath your feet. Boulders fall around you. An earthquake. Flee before it collapses. The game turn ends immediately. You have 2 turns to leave the site. Place this card at the bottom of the action deck. Add a D4 showing the 2 side. Where's our D4? Okay. At the end of each game turn, increment the D4 to count the turns. Enemy Marauder fails to leave the site and time is eliminated. Okay, so we that was a round that's over. We're gonna shuffle and draw. We do fortunately only have 1 Draconid. We do have to also draw our cool cards, which I'm gonna go ahead and do because we are going to gather 1 of 2 cards from the catacombs. Because again, we did rescue. The whole point is we're trying to get these artifacts over here. Our game turn ended. That was pretty immediate. Pretty abrupt is the word you're looking for. So we're gonna discard this. We're gonna draw new cards. Shuffle up. So give me a second while I just get myself some new cards. I think 2 turns is doable right now. We have a nice clear line of sight. We did prep the board and clear it accordingly, so we're fine in that sense. We're going to go ahead and reveal 2, 3. That's 1 deck done. We have to do this one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another. And then over here, this one needs to be entirely shuffled up. So give me a second there. 2 turns. I mean, we might be able to do it in 1. Soliner for sure can get out. He's got so much movement, it's not even fair. We'll go ahead and draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we put that over there. We also need to draw our artifacts. So we're going to shuffle up the artifact deck and see 2 artifacts that we're going to draw. And this is for the fact that we're looting the artifacts. We can choose between the infallible grapple of Sashana the Transparent or crystalline statuette of Pericles the Invincible. When you move using an action card, automatically pass your test on the dotted line. Or the Draconid is stunned, bring him to space in contact. If there's a Draconid in your line of sight, test, and he can be stunned, bring him to the space in contact with Marauder. Oh, you're grappling, you're dragging them towards you. I like that. That's cool. That could be useful. We're going to go ahead and put that into Umbra's discard, because I think the tricky part is, I think that got discarded. Normally they can go into your hand, but we ended the game turn, which means all the cards get discarded. So that's useful for the future. If this card gets burnt, it will not be available in the deck again. That's going to be done for the adventure. And now we go to the next turn, where we are going to take a look at our cards briefly to see what we want to do. There's not a Draconid in my line of sight. Not there. Designate Marauder. They can archive a tension card in front of them. Not really relevant right now. I think we're just going to go ahead and draw our first action card. We're going to see what we got. We got Umbra. Umbra has 3 moves. We're going to go 1. This is the problem over here. So we're going to have to get rid of that card with our action card over there. Okay, so that is what it is, and we'll see what we get as far as pulling those. In fact, yeah, I guess so. Maybe we should have Soliner use that. That's the only downside. Now, we could also heal from this location, but I don't know if it's as relevant for right now. It would save us 10 gold coins. That's the nice part. So maybe Umbra goes 1, 2, 3. That might be worth it. Umbra has a wound. Let's prep for the next round. So we're going to go there, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go ahead and reveal that. We get a D4 worth of gold. So we're kind of playing a little bit of a prepping for the next round. We finally got actually 3 gold there. So we got 3 gold for the next round. And we get rid of a wound, which is going to save us a little bit of tension over there. That's the good news there. We draw the next card, and we got Umbra. 3 moves. Okay, well that was less satisfying. I think we're going to go ahead and have Umbra put that in front of them so we can have them for whatever they need. We're going to go ahead and discard this card over here. So we discarded a card, and we're going to draw the next card, and we have Draka. Draka can move 2, which is helpful because Draka can then get prepped to actually attack. Now we did we heal? Oh, we healed a wound. We healed a wound. That means we leveled up. We leveled up our challenge card. because we got our second challenge card done. We're going to draw another challenge card and see what we get for the next one. But we just leveled up a challenge card, so we're going to get the next one. It's going to be dangerously close. If all Marauders are in contact with 1 plus Drakonids, not neutralized, and 2 of the Marauders are hunted, you level up. I don't think they'll be as relevant, but I think having the 10-sided die is going to be a nice start over here. So now we have our own 10-sided die against them. Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and use Draka to move 1 over here, and possibly be prepped to take them out because they're facing the other way. Obviously, if they draw a Drakonids attack card, that'd be its own problem. But what we could do is we could go ahead and use rock throwing. If there's a Draconid in your line of sight, test on a 4+, we got a 2. Put a collapse token in a space adjacent to the target space. Okay, we're going to place a collapse token down, and that's not going to be fun at all. So we kind of unfortunately had to place a collapse token. I was so confident that we'd hit a 4+, which was a mistake. That is unfortunate. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and draw the next action card. Let's see what we get. We have Solinar. So it's going to go over here and then prep to get rid of that with an action card. So we're going to have to get rid of that the next time. And that's the rock wall is helpful but frustrating. Draka can go ahead and attack with a +2 if hunted. I think we're just going to go ahead and attack and try to neutralize the Draconid right now. So we're going to be rolling a 1 against a 1. We are going to go ahead and add 2 this time around. We should have done it with the last card. So we're rolling at a +2 against theirs. Ours is the purple die. We got a 6 to their 5. This is going to be a neutralized Draconid. That one's done. So that's helpful. We didn't eliminate the Draconid, but we neutralized it, which is a good step. And now we draw the next action card, which is going to be Solinar. Solinar is going to get rid of this Rockfall token, which is helpful. And then we're going to draw our next action card, Drakonids. There's none to really worry about, so we still have to draw the activation card. Oh no. Immediately after completing the objective, do not play the first Draconid activation card. So we could ignore that because of this planning card that we prepped for at the beginning of the game. So we are good there. We're going to draw our next card. It's Umbra. Umbra's going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, and then use their next card to go 1, 2, 3. I guess here makes more sense because you can jump past there without risking that. So I think that's good there. Okay, we're doing fine. We're going to draw we are going to need the second turn, which is, I guess, a good thing. Drakonids, they're going to activate. Let's see if they stand up. Drakonids attack. Drakonids move forward. Remove collapse tokens on red spawn spaces, which I don't think are relevant. Then +1 Draconid on red spawn spaces, which again, I don't think are relevant. So this is not hurting us because everything's hopefully dead. And then we draw our next one. Draka. Draka could move out now at this point, or they could attack. I think we'll just go ahead and move out with Draka. So 1 and 2 off the board. Draka is now safe. And we're going to go ahead and have Drakonids. They're going to stand up over here, or possibly stand up. Interception. Drakonids move. Drakonids face. Drakonids +1 Draconid on the plus space of tiles containing a Marauder. So I think that is not relevant right now because there are no, this one actually got collapsed, so that's not relevant. This one they're standing on, and there's no other Marauders in play. So again, we got a little lucky there. And then we're going to go ahead and do Solinar is going to move 3 and go 1, 2, 3. So currently this is the situation on the board where we have 1 turn left. I'm kind of not going to bother with their hands right now. I probably should. You know, I think we got this. It kind of depends on the activation cards, which is why I should actually go ahead and bother because there are cards that can mess with your ability to stop the Drakonids from activating, which that would be good. We're going to discard the cards. Draka is no longer in play. We can get rid of hers. Let's draw and shuffle. We got a tension card for Umbra. So we are doing fine overall. Let's see what we got. Okay. We have our action cards. That's the main thing. So we're just going to discard the Draka action cards as they come out. We have a Solinar. 5 moves. 1. Oh, this is a rock fall. Oh, that's annoying. I could have jumped there otherwise. But that's fine. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would get us close to being out. But we do have to pass by here. So we are going to go 3, pass by both of these to test on the accurate die on a 10+, and hopefully succeed. We got +2. That's actually good. That's totally fine. We only need a 2 over there because we added +2, and then 4, 5. So working our way towards not dying. Draka we could ignore. Solinar can step off the board. Solinar is now off. We now have Draka ignoring. We have Umbra. 1, 2. We are going to roll on a. We're going to pad all the dice together. So we have a 3 - 1, so we're rolling on a +2. And that +2 is going to be 5. We're totally good. So what was that? That was 3 moves. So 1, 2, 3. And then we just need to see if we draw Drakonids before Umbra. 3 moves. And we are out. And that would be a successful mission. We've done it. We've done mission 2 on hard. A little tighter. Not a ton of spread as far as taking wounds, but there's a lot of maneuvering and navigating around over here. And we made our way out. So that has been a gameplay of GODS Heist. Stay tuned for the review, because there'll be a review coming up sooner, closer to the campaign going live. Until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of GODS Heist. And as always, I hope you have a good one.